You would never hand a stranger your life savings for a handful of seashells. Except your ancestors did, for thousands of years, across 3 continents. Not because they were foolish, because their brains were doing exactly what evolution built them to do. Right now, you trust a piece of plastic in your wallet the same way. You trust a number on a screen. None of it is edible. None of it keeps you warm. And yet you'll work 40 hours a week for it. That's not a modern invention. That's a switch in your head that's been flipped for a very long time.
So here's the question. Would you have trusted the shell? Or would you have been the one person in the village who refused, who demanded goats instead, who thought everyone else had lost their minds? Most people wouldn't have, and by the end of this, you'll understand why your brain wouldn't have let you refuse either.
Rewind to the Maldives, a scatter of islands in the Indian Ocean long before written history. On the shallow reefs, a small glossy shell called Cypraea moneta washes up by the millions. It's smooth, curved, almost impossible to fake. A trader scoops up a handful, loads them onto a boat, and sails for the coast of India. He can't eat the shells, he can't build with them, but somewhere down the trade route, someone else wants them badly enough to hand over rice, cloth, or metal in exchange.
Now fast forward along that same trade network thousands of miles east to Bronze Age China. Dig into the ground near Anyang, the old Shang Dynasty capital, and archaeologists have pulled out burial pits packed with cowrie shells. Not scattered by accident, placed deliberately next to bronze vessels, next to the bodies of the wealthy. Someone wanted to be buried rich, and rich meant shells.
Here's the detail that should stop you. Look at the Chinese written language today. The character for money, the character for goods, the character for buy and sell, nearly every single one contains the same small radical, bei, a stylized picture of a cowrie shell. That symbol is still sitting inside modern Chinese banking vocabulary, over 3,000 years after the shells themselves stopped being spendable. The economy changed, the language never let go. Historian Bin Yang traced this even further, mapping a cowrie shell economic zone stretching from the Indian Ocean up through Yunnan in southwest China, a currency system that ran for centuries without a single government printing it, backing it, or guaranteeing it. No king declared the shells valuable, no central bank, just millions of individual humans independently deciding to trust the same object. Picture the actual handoff. A trader in Yunnan sets a pile of shells on a wooden table in exchange for salt. He has never met the fisherman who first pulled that shell from a Maldivian reef months and thousands of miles earlier. He doesn't need to. He only needs to believe that the next person down the line will accept the same shells from him. That single chain of belief, repeated across strangers who will never meet, is the entire foundation of the system. Break that chain anywhere, and the shells become worthless sand-colored rocks overnight. And the system did eventually break. As shells flowed in faster than local demand could absorb, the value of a single cowrie in Yunnan started to slide. The same collapse a modern currency suffers when a government prints too much of it. The mechanism wasn't new, only the object was. That's the part that should unsettle you a little. A cowrie shell has almost no practical use. You can't farm with it, you can't fight with it. Unlike a goat or a sack of grain, it does nothing for your survival on its own. Which means the value wasn't in the object. The value was entirely inside the shared belief of the people holding it. And that belief is exactly what your brain is built to generate. Humans are the only species on Earth that can get 2 strangers to cooperate around a completely fictional idea. Pull a chimpanzee troop toward an invisible resource and nothing happens. Pull a human toward an invisible resource backed by nothing but mutual agreement and you get cities, trade routes, and empires. That instinct, the ability to trust a symbol as if it were real, is ancient. It didn't start with cowries. Cowries are just the oldest fingerprint we can dig out of the dirt. If you want to know what other invisible ideas are quietly steering your everyday decisions, subscribe to Neanderthink. This channel exists to find them. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. That same trusting instinct that let a farmer accept shells for his harvest is still running, unedited, in your brain right now, except it's no longer aimed at seashells. It's aimed at credit limits, at stock tickers, at cryptocurrency charts you don't fully understand. Quick honest question. Have you ever bought something you didn't need purely because the price tag made it feel valuable? That's the same wiring. Keep that answer to yourself. Or don't. The mismatch is this. Your ancestors' trust circuit evolved in small groups where everyone could see everyone else agreeing on the shell's worth in real time. Today, that same circuit gets aimed at abstractions no single human can fully verify. A national currency backed by nothing but collective faith, a digital number in an app. Your brain still treats it with the same primal weight it gave a handful of cowries on a Bronze Age trade route. The object changed, the instinct never got the memo. That's why a market crash feels like a physical threat, why losing money triggers the same stress response as losing food would have 10,000 years ago. Your ancestors' brain never distinguished between "I lost my grain store" and "I lost my savings." To your nervous system, both mean the same thing. The tribe's shared trust just broke, and you might not survive what comes next. Think about the last time your card got declined at a checkout line, even for something small. The heat in your face, the scramble to explain yourself to a stranger behind a register. That's not embarrassment about a transaction. That's an ancient alarm firing. The same alarm that would have gone off if a trader on that Yunnan trade route suddenly refused your shells in front of the whole village. Public loss of trusted currency has always meant public loss of standing. Your body just never updated the wiring to know the stakes are usually smaller now. So here's the reframe. The next time you feel that jolt of anxiety over money or that strange rush of status from a designer logo, you're not broken and you're not weak. You're running software built for cowrie shells and grain stores, now pointed at spreadsheets. Once you see that, you can catch the reaction before it drives the decision. You can ask, is this fear about real survival, or is this my ancient trust circuit misfiring on a modern symbol? Your ancestors handed strangers seashells and called it wealth. You hand strangers a tap of plastic and call it normal. Different object, same 11,000-year-old leap of faith. And somewhere down the line, someone will look at whatever you're trusting today and wonder how you ever believed in it at all. If your instincts have ever sabotaged something you thought was purely rational, there's a video on this channel about exactly that kind of misfire, and it's waiting for you next.